One day, in Kolkata, a densely populated city, lived a couple who loved each other. They are Ishan and Ankita. Ishan worked as theater performers, while Ankita worked at one of the television stations. Ankita is very obsessed with being the main news anchor. Even though they are busy with their respective jobs, they both often spend time together. Ankita loves Ishan for who he is, but she's also worried about Ishan's work, which has no economic prospects in the future. Because they both already love each other, they decided to register their marriage at the Office of Religious Affairs. On the other hand, there's Varman, a cunning politician. Varman is a member of the House of Representatives, who has great influence in government. At one of the events, Varman met Ankita. Then, Ankita teased Varman. So, he immediately fell in love with Ankita. Varman tried to approach Ankita and offered her a job as a main news anchor. Of course, without thinking anymore, Ankita accepted the offer. Varman also gave Ankita a luxury apartment. Varman and Ankita's relationship was getting closer and closer, while Ishan's relationship with Ankita was increasingly tenuous. One time, it was seen that Ishan was being followed by two strangers. Then, one night, Ankita asked Ishan to meet at her luxurious apartment. Ishan was surprised to see that Ankita was able to get a luxury apartment in such a short time. Ishan was sure that Ankita had a special relationship with the rich man. So, Ishan left Ankita's apartment. Since then, Ishan has not been seen anymore. He was reported missing. Ishan's sister, Namita, and her husband, Aman, have repeatedly gone to the police station. They asked where Ishan was, because he had been missing for 2 weeks. But the police were not serious in handling the case of Ishan's missing. The police only told Namita and Aman to be patient. Namita then came out from the police station crying. Coincidentally, there is a journalist named Vidhi who felt sorry to see Namita crying. Then, Vidhi approached Namita and finally, she told Vidhi everything. Hearing that story, Vidhi was going to help Namita. In the morning, Vidhi saw the news that Ishan was involved in a bombing at one of Varman's houses. The media said that Ishan joined with a militant group on the border of the forest. Vidhi is curious about Ishan's case, and Vidhi suspects that Varman is involved in this case. Later, Vidhi asks for approval from her superior, Kunal, to make news about the case of Ishan's disappearance. Kunal immediately agrees and urges Vidhi to report strong evidence of Varman's involvement in this case, because Varman is not just a random person. Vidhi then goes home and studies the case. Vidhi lives with her grandpa, and she calls her grandpa Nanu. Vidhi often discusses Ishan's case with Nanu, because he knows some people in the government. Nanu is a professor who has retired teaching at a campus. Vidhi started looking for information about Ishan, so Vidhi went to Ishan's house to meet Namita and Ishan's mother. Since Ishan disappeared, his mother was often sick. She is really sad because her son is missing. Because of that, Vidhi is also sad to see Ishan's mother's condition. Namita tells everything about Ishan. Namita and Ishan's mother felt that the police were hiding something, because they believed that Ishan could not possibly join a militant group. He was a kind-hearted young man. Then, Vidhi wrote down everything that Namita and Ishan's mother said. After that, Vidhi returned to the office. At the office, Vidhi's friends invited her to go on vacation, but Vidhi refused because she was focused on pursuing Ishan's case. Suddenly, Jeet, Vidhi's boyfriend, called. Jeet works out of town, and he often fights with Vidhi because of a long-distance relationship. But now, Jeet is being assigned to the same city as Vidhi. Therefore, Vidhi is happy to hear that so she can meet with her boyfriend. Jeet and Vidhi then promised to have dinner together. After that, Vidhi continued her work. Vidhi goes to the police station to ask the police about Ishan. The police said that Ishan's case was very sensitive and the police were forbidden from giving any information. In consequence, Vidhi said that she would interrogate Ankita, because Vidhi was sure that Ankita was involved in this case. Vidhi continued her investigation and she went to the theater where Ishan worked. Vidhi interrogated Ishan's friends in the theater and Vidhi asked one of them, Kushal. There, Kushal said that Ankita and Varman must be responsible for Ishan's disappearance. Kushal felt that Ishan could not possibly join the militant group because it didn't make sense. Ishan was never involved with such a movement, he was just interested in the theatrical world. Vidhi asked Kushal for Ankita's latest address and Kushal gave it. At night, Vidhi went to dinner with her boyfriend. Jeet asked her to take a few days off from work. Jeet wanted to spend a lot of time with Vidhi. However, Vidhi refused it because she had to investigate Ishan's case. Of course, Jeet was not supporting Vidhi to investigate this case because it's really dangerous for her and it involves the important people in the government like Varman. But still, Vidhi doesn't care for Jeet's words. She will still work on this case because Vidhi feels sad to see Isan's mother and Namina who are suffering. Hearing that, Jeet could only be silent. Jeet then took Vidhi home. On the other hand, Isan's mother's health condition continues to decline. The next morning, as usual, Vidhi has breakfast with Nanu. Vidhi is very close to Nanu, so they often spend time together while chatting. Vidhi wants to know what Nanu thinks about Isan being accused of joining a militant group. Nanu doesn't believe these accusations that the government always spread through the media. Then, Nanu offered help to Vidhi. Because of his wide connections, Nanu was able to arrange Vidhi's meeting with a senior member of the House of Representatives named Shankar. After breakfast, Vidhi went to Ankita's address. Vidhi found out that Ankita's apartment belonged to Varman. Vidhi tried to reach Ankita by ringing the bell, but Ankita didn't even appear. Vidhi was calling Ankita many times, but Ankita didn't pick up the call. So, Vidhi returned home. On the other hand, Varman argued with Ankita over the phone. Varman was a little annoyed because Ankita was still worried about Isan. It seems that the two strangers, who were Varman's men, were spying on Vidhi's house. Nanu realized this and approached them, but they both ran away. The next morning, Ankita went to see Varman at his office and she told Varman that she was called by Vidhi. Varman warned Ankita to be careful when talking to Vidhi. Vidhi should not know about the secret marriage between Varman and Ankita. However, Ankita, who is still curious, asks Varman again about Isan's disappearance. Varman is annoyed because Ankita keeps asking that. Varman asks Ankita to forget Isan and just focus on herself, who will run for a member of the House of Representatives. At night, Nanu went to Vidhi's room and conveyed his worries. Nanu asked Vidhi to be careful because she was handling a big case. But Vidhi said that Nanu didn't need to worry about her. In the morning, Vidhi went to the market to meet Aman. Vidhi, escorted by a kind-hearted teenager named Naeem, walked to Aman's shop. It turned out that Naeem was a street teenager who knew Isan. Naeem said that Isan often helped him pay his school fees. Vidhi then met Aman and she asked what information he got from the police. Aman said that he got information from the police chief that Isan was suspected of being Rana's right-hand man. Rana was the leader of the most wanted militant group. But Aman denied everything that the police chief said. Aman then advises Vidhi to be careful, because Aman is always being followed by two strangers. On the way home, Varman's men stalk and follow Vidhi to make her scared. Vidhi tried not to be afraid and just walked home. Next morning, Vidhi met Shankar and asked about Isan's case to him. Shankar said that all this time, the government knew who Rana was and where he was. But the government did not kill Rana because people like Rana were deliberately kept by the government for their image to the public through the media. Rana was like the pawns played by the government to strengthen their position so that the government can show its strength to the people. Shankar also said that it was impossible for Isan to join with Rana on his own will. Maybe Isan joined because he was forced to. Shankar told Vidhi about a senior journalist named Zia who had previously interviewed Rana. Maybe Zia could help Vidhi to talk to Rana. After meeting with Shankar, Vidhi went to meet Zia. Zia has retired and chooses to live a quiet life and deepen religion. It can be seen that Zia has just finished praying at the mosque. Because Vidhi will meet someone in front of the mosque, she's using a scarf to cover her head to respect the Muslims there. Then, Vidhi chats with Zia, and Vidhi asks for Zia's help to talk to Rana. Zia will help her, but he doesn't promise because he has quit his old job. Vidhi then returns home and in her bedroom, she continues to analyze Isan's case with all the information she has already got. On the other hand, Ankita is crying while remembering her beautiful past with Isan. The next morning, Vidhi went to Ankita's apartment. They both talked about Isan. Ankita admitted that she had broken up with Isan long before he disappeared. Vidhi could not believe Ankita. Vidhi asked why did Ankita delete her social media account. Then, Ankita was nervous and couldn't answer. Vidhi knew that Ankita did that to get rid of the traces that she was Isan's girlfriend. Vidhi also said that Isan's last location when he disappeared was in Ankita's apartment. Hearing that, Ankita was just silent. On the other hand, Nanu is jogging in the garden near his house. Suddenly, two Varman's men came and threatened Nanu. They asked Nanu to make Vidhi stop investigating Isan's case. They threatened to hurt Vidhi as well as Nanu. But, Nanu responds to the threat casually and says that he is not afraid to die. After that, Nanu walks home casually. On the other hand, Vidhi meets Zia in the station secretly. Zia tells Vidhi that he managed to get information about Rana's right-hand man. Zia says he will help Vidhi so she can talk to Rana. In the next morning, Vidhi and Jeet have breakfast together. Jeet told Vidhi that her father, Sanjeev, has a business project with Varman. Vidhi is surprised to hear that, and she just knew about it, because so far, Vidhi's relationship with her parents was not going well. She rarely saw her parents. After breakfast, Vidhi and Zia met Rana's right-hand man, Rule. Vidhi asks Rule to help her find a way so she could talk with Rana. On the other hand, Sanjeev gave a new car for Vidhi. Sanjeev entrusted the keys to Nanu. Sanjeev and Vidhi's mother, Anurta, did not like it if she handled a case related to Varman. The chief police met Varman and talked about Vidhi, who's continuing to investigate Isan's case. Varman asks the chief if there is a way to stop Vidhi's action. The chief advises Varman to cut off business relations with Sanjeev to suppress Vidhi. Then, Varman immediately agrees with the idea. At night, Jeet meets Vidhi at Nanu's house. Jeet suggested Vidhi to stop investigating this case. Vidhi refused Jeet's suggestion. Vidhi is annoyed while showing data regarding facts in India. In India, hundreds of children are reported missing and never found. Every 8 minutes, a child in India was declared missing. After that, Jeet returned home. Next morning, Vidhi went to her father's office. Sanjeev advised Vidhi not to investigate this case, because it was very risky. Vidhi knew her father said this because he was afraid his business with Varman would be disrupted. Vidhi then returned the car's key given by her father. After that, Vidhi went to her office. In the office, Vidhi received a letter containing a threat that someone would harm Vidhi with a chemical liquid. Vidhi started to fear and worry. Suddenly, Namita called and told Vidhi that actually, Isan had already registered his marriage with Ankita at the marriage register office. Vidhi went straight to the marriage register office and saw the proof of Isan and Ankita's marriage registration. Later, at night, Anurta meets Vidhi at Nanu's house. They are fighting because Vidhi doesn't obey her father's order. Nanu tried to calm the situation. Besides, Nanu asks Anurta to respect Vidhi's decision because she's a mature woman. In the morning, Ankita is busy campaigning for her candidacy as a member of the House of Representatives. After the campaign, Vidhi met Ankita at Ankita's parents' house. Vidhi showed evidence that Isan and Ankita had gotten their wedding plans at the marriage register office. Ankita was sad and just silent. At that moment, Ankita missed Isan. Ankita admitted that she still loves Isan. But they're separated because Ankita chose Varman, which is richer. Then, Vidhi asked if Varman was involved in Isan's disappearance. Again, Ankita was silent. She begged Vidhi not to publish Isan's wedding plans with her. Vidhi was annoyed at Ankita. Vidhi thinks that Ankita is a hypocritical woman and materialist. On the other hand, Varman is campaigning in his constituency to win back the election which will soon be held. At the office, Vidhi is meeting with Kunal. He is asking for the latest news regarding the case of Isan's disappearance. Vidhi said that she has not been able to interview Rana. However, Kunal asks Vidhi to finish the news soon, because the elections will be held soon. At night, when Vidhi fell asleep, she had a nightmare that made her even more anxious and scared. She woke up and pondered for a while. In the morning, Vidhi received news that Naeem was arrested by the police. Vidhi went straight to the police station and she was angry at the police because they arrested a minor without a warrant. Vidhi threatened to publish this. Vidhi would also sue the police according to the law. The police were afraid and freed Naeem. Vidhi then brought the boy home with her. At night, when Vidhi was asleep, Vidhi was called by one of Isan's friends and was told that the police found Kushal's body. Vidhi immediately went to the crime scene to see Kushal's body, which was found in a ditch. Vidhi was sure this must be Varman's work to show his strength. Vidhi was getting scared and she was confused about what to do. In the next morning, Varman did imaging in front of the media while Vidhi met the police chief. Vidhi knew that all this time, it was the police chief, the one who backed Varman. The chief said that this is all their politics. As police, they only carry out the government's duties. At night, Vidhi discussed the case with Nanu. After the discussion, Vidhi stayed up late to finish her writing. In the morning, Nanu ventured to meet Varman. Nanu warned Varman not to mess with Vidhi. If Varman dares to touch Vidhi, Nanu will destroy Varman, because Nanu also has colleagues in the government. In the office, Vidhi continues to discuss the case with Kunal. He is pressing Vidhi to resolve the news as soon as possible. Beside that, Vidhi gets news that her father's cooperation contract with Varman was cancelled unilaterally by Varman. This made Vidhi's father lose money. A few days later, Vidhi worked up the courage to interview Varman. Vidhi asked about Varman's involvement in Isan's disappearance. Varman, who was a cunning politician, answered all Vidhi's questions with diplomatic answers. Varman challenged Vidhi to prove his involvement in Isan's disappearance. Varman said that as a journalist, Vidhi had to provide facts, not rumors. Vidhi also asked if Varman had married secretly with Ankita. But Varman refused to answer. After a long day of work, Vidhi came home and immediately fell asleep on her bed. Vidhi looked very tired, and seeing this, Nanu put the blanket on Vidhi. In the morning, Vidhi was exercising to rekindle her enthusiasm, while Nanu was cooking in the kitchen to make Vidhi's favorite food. At the same time, Sanjeev came to Nanu's house to meet Vidhi. Sanjeev said to Vidhi that his business is bankrupt because Varman terminated the contract unilaterally. Sanjeev is aware that Varman is not a good person, but it is okay, as long as his daughter is happy with her own choice. From now on, Sanjeev will support whatever Vidhi does. Vidhi hugged her father while crying, and the atmosphere became emotional. Vidhi finally finished writing about Varman's involvement in the case of Isan's disappearance. Kunal was really pleased with Vidhi's writing. However, if Vidhi can get information from Rana, the news will be better and it can go viral. Then, Vidhi took one day leave for a vacation. In the afternoon, Vidhi went on a date with Jeet. Jeet apologized to Vidhi, and he promised from now on, he would support whatever Vidhi was doing. Jeet would support Vidhi with all his heart. They both enjoyed time together in the pouring rain. Suddenly, Zia told Vidhi that Rule will give time for Vidhi's interview with Rana. Vidhi was happy to hear that. She went straight to meet Rule. Vidhi and Zia met Rule at a hotel. Shortly thereafter, Rule opened his laptop and invited Vidhi to interview Rana via Skype. Vidhi directly asks Rana some questions. Rana answered, "Vidhi, everyone has their own meaning of justice. In the past, Varman was my friend. He was a greedy person. He would use any means to achieve his goals. Since I became the leader of the militant group, I continued to monitor Varman, because I know he is the real enemy of the country. As long as he lives, Varman will definitely finish off his enemies. When I hear Varman is obsessed with Ankita, I'm sure Varman will definitely kill Isan. Even though I didn't know Isan, I ordered my men to save him. Now, Isan is still alive and living in another country. Isan already changed his identity and he did this to protect himself from Varman. Isan will return to his family after Varman dies. As long as Varman is still alive, Isan will not return to his family. Isan was never involved in the bombing that I did, because Isan does not like violence. Isan is a kind young man. Because of that, once again, I explain that Isan has never been in my group. Varman and the government always spread fake news through the media accusing Isan of joining my group." After that interview, Vidhi went back home. At night, Ankita, Varman and his staff are on holiday at a villa. Isan sends a video to Ankita. In the video, Isan said that tomorrow morning, the militant group would bomb Varman's car to kill him and Ankita. Then, Ankita panicked and showed the video to Varman. After seeing the video, Varman and Ankita will remain in the villa, while Varman's staff were ordered to go home. Varman deliberately saved himself and sacrificed his staff. At dawn, Varman's staff got into the car and returned home. On the way, a bomb in one of the cars carrying Varman's staff exploded. Four of Varman's staff killed on place. This news spread rapidly on social media. The media said that Isan was the mastermind behind the bombing. Ankita was annoyed by the news and she could no longer bear to hear the slander aimed at Isan. Finally, Ankita sent Isan's video to Vidhi. Vidhi was shocked to see the video. It turned out that Varman sacrificed his staff and accused Isan as the mastermind of all this. Vidhi immediately completes her writing regarding Varman's involvement in the case of Isan's disappearance. With Vidhi's writing, the public will know who has been spreading hoax news. The public will know that Isan is innocent as Varman and the government have accused so far. Vidhi's writing has spread widely on social media. Now, people know who Varman really is and who Isan really is. Isan's family is grateful to Vidhi, and they will be waiting for Isan's return. Vidhi's mother is really proud of her for writing the news.